you know, her freshman year indoors. She ran a couple miles. She didn't run a 5K until the outdoor season of her freshman year.
Yeah.
And so it was a very slow progression for her. Now she's starting to realize, oh, that was probably a smart decision. Now
right.
I've got the speed. You know, I've been slowly adding the miles and the aerobic power over the course of time. Now she's ready to run 10,000 meters.
Right.
And the nice thing is she still has that 1,500 meter speed.
Right.
So she can get into, you know, 8K, 9K of the race, and then when it's time to go, she can go.
Right.
So I think we've done some nice things for Hillary, and I just get her to the races.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I just get her to the meet. Hillary, this is what time you run. Just make sure you're warmed up, ready to go. You're ready to do that. The gun goes off, and she takes care of the race.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's been a tremendous asset to the program, and couldn't be more proud of her.
Yeah. And they both had, well, she and Margot both, I guess, got to race at Hayward Field last year with first round, and then obviously junior nationals and seniors were both out at Eugene, and you know, hopefully they'll both be this year for the trial. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
That would be the goal. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, Margot's dabbling a little bit in that steeplechase, and she's got to run faster, but I think she can do that.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. So.
And then obviously Brian Holt, man, 14:33 in December at Notre Dame, and you just feel heartbroken that, man, you know, injury bug caught up with him. And
yeah, you know, Brian, you know, he had compartmental syndrome second semester of his sophomore year. Got over that, trained great from there on.
Did he have surgery, or did he? Okay.
He did have to have surgery on it, so he missed. You know, he redshirted that whole semester. His comeback is trained and kept training, and we get through. You know, last outdoor season was kind of the breakthrough. You know, he runs 35 indoors, runs 8:23, wins an invitational section of 3,000 meters at a meet at Nebraska.
Yeah.
You know, just all conference for the first time in his career. Had a great summer of training, great fall of training. You know, won the 10K, the October. The 10K, the Halloween 10K here, and outkicked the Benson twins.
Yeah.
It was for a great win, and then you know, goes and runs 14:33, and we knew he was. We thought he had a little bit of sciatica going on.
Okay.
He actually had torn a hamstring.
Yeah.
And so we just ran on that a little bit too long and just derailed his indoor season. But he's training. He's running well. Opened up 30:27, which was a big PR for him. 10,000 meters, and you know, hopefully we can see some fast 15s by the end of this this outdoor season. So we'll see what happens. Our goal is to make the NCAA meet. So if we can run 3:48. 3:47, which you know, F106 at the Festival of Miles last.
Right.
So you know, last June. So the speed's there.
Yeah.
We just gotta get the legs back under us.
Right. And then obviously Brittany's had success in the jumps, especially the triple, and then also a guy like DeMar Miles, who is a senior from Maryland, who's had success in the hurdles.
Yeah, DeMar. You know, DeMar's an interesting story because he actually his freshman year of high school ran at U City. And that's,
you're kidding! Oh my gosh!
That was the connection back to St. Louis. His grandmother his grandmother and his mother live here in U City. Okay. And so he wanted to come back to St. Louis. Thanking everybody for that one. You know, he's come back and he's a two-time A10 champion in the 110s. You know, he's made the NCAA regionals the last 2 years. You know, hopefully this should be, you know, three-peat.
Right.
Hard to say a three-peat for the A10 meet. That's those 10 hurdles that you never know what's going to happen. But you know, that's the goal. And then obviously Brittany's had a great career. You know, she's made the NCAA regional since her freshman year. You know, she's won 4 A10 triple jump titles, 2 long jump titles. I mean, she's now the most decorated individual student athlete ever at St. Louis University.
Goodness.
So,
well, I couldn't believe when Hillary told me no. She, you know, I asked her where she's from. She said, oh, she's from Marquette, just like me, high school. I was like,
Brittany and Hillary have gone to school together since first grade.
That's amazing.
So I mean, to track them from first grade all the way to the success that they're having.
Right.
You know, Brittany's goal this outdoor season is to make the trials.
Yeah.
And that would be, I think that'd be a pretty neat story to have 2 kids that went to school all the way from first grade, all the way through high school, all the way through college,
that's amazing.
Competing at the Olympic trials. That would be just a
what a story that would be. Yeah. So what would probably take 22 and a half probably to
22 and a half probably in the long jump. You know, I think better chance in the triple jump. To be honest.
42 and a half probably to get there.
You know, probably 42.9 would be my guess. Right around 43 feet, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And I've seen her do it in practice. got to do it in a meet. They don't count in practice.
Right.
You got to keep telling her that they don't count. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. Well, what's and I mean, there's a lot to be excited about. And obviously college athletics. I'm really disappointed that it's become such big business. I mean, it is nice for the people that work hard that they, you can get a decent salary. But what's your, what do you see in the track and field world? Any thoughts on what we need to improve on, or what needs to be changed? Or
there's so much debate of whether or not track and field is a dying sport, and it's not. You look at the participation numbers at the high school level, and how many millions of high school kids participate in the sport. It's not a dying sport. It's a sport that needs to be cleaned up. I mean, there's no question about that. These 8, 9 hour, 10-hour marathon meets. We do have to get away from those. And I like the idea of scored meets. Pat Henry at Texas A&M wanted to bring back the mile for the national championship. I think people were confused what he meant by that. I think a lot of people thought he wanted to run it all year. My interpretation is he wanted to just run it at the national championships. People still understand the significance of a sub 4 minute mile. That is, in my opinion, the hardest thing to do in sports. Not hitting a baseball. Running a 4 minute mile is the hardest thing to do. There's only 380 Americans that have ever done it. It's the hardest thing in sports to do. But what do we need to do better? I mean, scored meets are always great ideas. Shorter meets are great ideas. We need promotion. I think we, in track and field, one of the things I see as coaches, and I don't want to jump out of the fraternity here, but there's too much of a woe is me attitude, and I think we need to be a little bit more of an empowering group and promote our kids and have more of the what the football coaches and the basketball coaches do, and really promote our kids. Because they're the ones out there that are running and jumping and throwing, and the more you can talk to your ADs and educate your ADs and people in the community, and I think a lot of times track coaches don't like getting in front of a camera and talking about the sport or doing interviews, or they just want to go and coach and write workouts, and you got to be a little bit of a promoter. In my opinion,
And part of it, the frustrating part is, as I hope to, dabbled in, a 1 second of coaching, and as I hope to get into that, is to me, especially meets, hosting meets, and there's it's a fine art, and we just present the sport terribly. At the WashU meet, I was amazed. A woman, I'm guessing she was mid-70s, maybe 80 years old, walks over. Oh, you know what? We started talking, and she just, came over to see what's going on, and I told her, I felt so. I wanted to give her a hug, almost like, well, thank you for supporting, at kids and the sport, and because we just do a terrible job of presenting the sport. You go to a meet, you sit down, you don't have a clue, unless you're a junkie and fanatic and you spend time following it. You don't have a clue what's going on, or what a 20 meter. What's a 20 meter shot put mean? What's you don't.
Those are little the presentation. Those are big deals. So you go to a meet like the Drake Relays, and Mike J is a phenomenal. Mike J is phenomenal at announcing meets and informing the fans. And obviously the Drake Relays are a different breed because all those people that go there go, and so they know what's going on. But for the casual fan, there's got to be a better
way to connect.
You go to a basketball game and you get your
program,
and it has all statistics and players' names and all that. And that's something we could do better with track and field.
I was shocked. I went up to Minnesota, last month for Division II national meet, and they did have heat sheets to provide, but there was no meet program. You could. Apparently you could scan the SQR code and you could just download one for free, but it wasn't listed on the NCAA website. It was, it's just like, are you kidding me?
If we could do a better job of that, and that's one of the goals with this Billiken Invitational is to put on a first class meet and have it so that people understand what's going on with scoreboards, with a good meet announcer. We're bringing back one of our alums who ran track, so he's going to be able to explain the sport. And I think that just goes a long way for the presentation.
Well, 10 seconds. You got what's a Billiken?
What's a Billiken? It's a good luck charm. It's an ancient Asian good luck charm.
All right. Well, thank you.